Hey guys, what's up and welcome to a new Tesla update video. It's a Monday, a fresh week to start the week off, I guess, but not the best way to start things off. So Tesla ending the day down almost 6%. You can see here ending the day at $724.27. So personally, I've been buying quite aggressively. I'm pretty much all tapped out. I will be completely transparent. I am pretty much ready to go. Let's just say that. I have been buying aggressively. I'm you can say all in, if you will. Now, there's a reason for that, and the reason for that is because, well, I truly believe that Tesla and the market as a whole, but in this case Tesla, is ready to essentially go up. Now, I will admit the price action today was a little bit weaker than I would like to see. Now, again, I'm pretty sure I mentioned this on Friday or Thursday or something like that. Let me take a quick look at the spine. You can see how they ended up. So you can see these two didn't actually gap fill, which is unfortunate. It would have been nice to see them gap fill, but it's fine. Now, the thing with Tesla is we did gap fill. That's a beautiful thing. I do like that. I do like the fact that this gap has been filled. The one thing I don't like is the fact that we ended below it. So that's the one part I will admit I'm not necessarily happy to see. The fact that this kind of 728 level, which again, I'm happy that we filled, we ended below it. Don't like to see that. However, again, I have said this before as well. I usually give it about like a 3-day rule, essentially, where as long as we can get back up above this level within the next, well, I guess 2 days now, essentially by the end of Wednesday, roughly. As long as we can get above 728, essentially above by Wednesday, to me, that's fine. I'm not too worried about that. 1 day under is fine. It's not a huge deal. It's also like hardly under, right? It's only like what, $4 under. It's not the biggest of issues or deals or whatever. So that's fine to me as well. So all in all, I actually think Tesla is. I genuinely believe that we're ready to get ready to do a move up. Now, one of the reasons why Tesla may have been having some issues is Elon has been pretty vocal on Twitter today. He tends to be able to move the market, and especially Tesla based on what he says sometimes. In this case, he responded with a poop emoji to Parag, I'm not sure how to pronounce his name, but essentially the current CEO of Twitter, regarding the whole Twitter acquisition thing, the whole essential like drama happening around there. And that is really impacting Twitter. You can see Twitter's down 8%, but it does affect Tesla a bit here and there as well. Essentially just this whole like uncertainty, which could be a reason as to why Tesla essentially underperformed a decent amount. The QQQ down 1.14%. By that measure, Tesla should be down like at most 2.5%, I would say. Clearly down a lot more than that. So that could have been attributed to the weakness today. But nonetheless, guys, all that being said and done, I'm personally liking the way Tesla's looking. I really am. I did say how, I wouldn't be surprised if after this move up here, we kind of retrace a little bit. Again, I will admit that we did retrace a tiny bit lower than I expected, or at least would have hoped to see. Or at least, if we retrace this low, I wanted to bounce a little bit harder, or like, end a little bit higher than this. But again, not the worst thing in the world. But the thing that is important is the fact that, like I said, if we do retrace down to this general level, I mentioned this the other day as well, last week, the RSI, right, on the 1 hour chart, I did say how I would expect the RSI, if we retrace down to somewhere around this general level, that we would essentially set a higher low on the RSI. And that's exactly what we did. We retraced all the way down to 719 roughly, even though this low was about, the very, very high 600s to the 700s. But we're setting a significantly higher a higher low on the RSI, which is what I like to see. So, to me, it's telling me that, at least on the shorter-ish time frame, within the next week, maybe two, we're essentially kind of slowly building up. We're building up the we're loading the spring, if that makes a lot of sense. You're kind of pulling back the spring slowly but surely. We're kind of loading it up and getting ready for the next move. And that's essentially what I personally see happening here. Now, taking a look at the volume, 26, pretty much 27 million. Not the a little bit higher than average, but relative to the recent days, it's pretty much on par, which is good. Actually, the fact that it's not higher volume on selling, in my opinion, is a good thing. It's not like making it super convincing that this is just ready to make a move straight down. Like I said, even though it did end up a little bit weaker today, there is definitely a chance that we can potentially dip a tiny little bit more under whatever today's low was, which I think was around 718-ish, 19. I don't think we'll go much lower than this. I would be surprised if we go much lower than this, and especially if we go much lower than the very, very low 700s, like 700 to 705. Like, I'll be pretty shocked if we go much lower than that. If we do, then in my opinion, this whole, bounds bull thesis that we currently have setting up, I think would essentially fall apart. So as long as we maintain this general level, don't go really too much farther lower than this, and this is essentially the low for now, essentially, I'm happy about that. I'm quite bullish about that. I like where it's kind of sitting and standing. I also like the fact that we kind of double bottomed over here on the 15-minute. You can see it gives us a better outlook where we kind of fell down to this level of around, again, 719-ish, came back up all the way to 741, which, by the way, is a decent move. Like, it's all happening in one day, so it's kind of hard to, that's a 3% move. Like, it doesn't seem like it's a lot if you look at it from this perspective. It's like, oh, okay, went up a little bit, cool, whatever. It's a 3% move. Like, these moves are pretty aggressive, pretty violent, pretty volatile. So the fact that we went down to 319, bounced off of this like 3%, and then came back down to 3% again, and then actually kind of solidified this area once again and bounced off essentially the same level, gives me like confidence that this is somewhat of a double bottom in this kind of shorter, smaller time frame, which is again a good thing. So ideally I would want to see this kind of 719 level hold. Ideally I wouldn't want this to break, because then this kind of confirms the fact that we're ready to potentially get a nice little W shaped double bottom type of movement here, and ready to kind of make our way back up. And essentially as we clear, or if and when we clear this rough 785 level, I think that's where we're good to go, man. I'll be honest, I think we're definitely good to go in that aspect for sure. So that's what I'm personally going to be looking for, and that's what I personally would love to see. Now, that's pretty much what I'm currently seeing. Again, the overall grand scheme of things, if you take a look at, let's say on the, I can't remember what time frame I drew this on, might have been 2 hour, might have been 1 hour, but on the 2 hour, if you look at this, we are essentially in this kind of downward slope, if you will, where we've touched points several times, right? We've went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Like, this is a pretty aggressive one, potentially coming up for touch 7, which again I expect to be somewhere in that 840, like mid to or low to mid 800s is roughly where I'm personally expecting it to happen, right? That's essentially what I think. There's going to be a lot of resistance around this general level right around here if we touch there, which could happen as fast as potentially Wednesday, actually. So maybe tomorrow if we're lucky, but maybe even Wednesday we could potentially make that much of an aggressive move, which wouldn't surprise me whatsoever, especially considering we're in a bear market. Bear markets tend to have extremely aggressive, extremely violent bounces to the upside, as well as a lot of shorts cover, because it's just if the stock or the market shows any signs of potential recovery, then it kind of snowballs the effect. Similar to when you have a sell-off and, it kind of snowballs the effect of people getting, panic selling, margin calls, etc., and then continues the snowball effect. Think of it the same concept, just kind of flip to the upside for shorts. So that definitely can happen. So that's something I wouldn't be too surprised to see, right? So something along the lines of that. And if we break out of this, then that could be, potentially signaling us that, we might make a move even higher, potentially to like the 900s even. So that'll be pretty nice to see as well. But guys, essentially what I'm seeing and what I'm saying right now is the fact that I'm quite convinced that we're setting up for a move up to the top side. Like the fact that we double bottomed here at this rough 700 level, we fell below it, but we never really closed the, like a daily below 700. Great news, right? Double bottom here. The fact that we're ready to bounce here, the fact that, even the shorter time frame is looking kind of bullish. The longer time frame, in terms of the double bottom, I actually really like. It's like boom, 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 right? It's like a nice little, double bottom like that. Let me see if I can do a quick draw. You can draw on this, which is nice. I don't know. Here, let me make this a little bit, maybe a highlighter. We'll do a highlighter. I don't know how to make it like a bigger highlighter, but I guess this will do. So kind of like this. The color kind of sucks. Where do I change the color? Right here. Okay, let me change the color of this. Go here. Let me go quickly here. We'll make it white, and we'll make the opacity much brighter. Perfect. Let me delete this. All right. So essentially what we have is we have the bottom number 1, W, bottom number 2, and then potentially, this is like the bull case scenario in my opinion. It would look something like, sick, stupid highlighter, man. Something like this, roughly. Just a rough example of what it can look like. This is like a typical, double bottom pattern. If I'll, Google it for you guys so you can see what it can roughly look like. Right, so you can see kind of something like this, right? Double bottom pattern. The neckline you can see on the middle of the W, right? That's essentially what it is. And then a neckline in this case would be essentially something like, actually, yeah, literally this red line here. The neckline would essentially be this red line. So if at some point or another we can potentially break above this neckline all the way up. So let's say it happens, I don't know, like late June, let's say roughly. It'll be about close to 1100 roughly. If we can ever break that, then I think we're ready to make essentially new all-time highs. But essentially, once this top neckline gets broken, which will be probably, you know, the very high thousands at some point whenever we get there, mid to high thousands, I think that is the major catalyst that will send us to all-time highs. But that's of course way farther down the road. That's nothing to be concerned about right now, especially for trading it like within the next, you know, week, 2 weeks, month even. So taking a look at the daily one more time, you can see the RSI is starting to kind of show some signs of a reversal, some signs of a bottom, some signs of a potential like really small kind of inverted head and shoulders here as well. But the RSI isn't really showing anything too crazy other than that. The fact that it made a lower low here, but it did technically go lower with the stock. So essentially the RSI on the daily is kind of just following the stock's movement. I wouldn't say it's anything too crazy. As usual, we'll also take a quick look at the MACD. Let me go ahead and remove this quickly. Take a quick look at the MACD as well. Again, on bigger time frames, I personally like the MACD. So the MACD, you can see here, starting to get slightly more bullish, but not very much. It's just kind of, you know, going sideways a little bit. The candles, or sorry, the red lines you can see getting less red, which is good, and also making slightly. It's not making lower lows anymore. It's making higher lows now, slightly, not a whole lot, but you know, it's very, very slight. But you know, it's something, I guess, and it's. There's a lot of signs to me that are just pointing to signs of a reversal right now. Signs of a reversal, signs of just, you know, finally getting some, you know, green over here. I mean, you know, especially after such a, you know, pretty aggressive sell-off as well. I'm just like, I just feel extremely confident that we're going to be looking for a push to the upside soon. And that's why I've bought quite aggressively. I feel good about it. Again, worst case scenario, essentially, if we break under 700 and we fall, yeah, it's going to suck. But, you know, if there's any stock I would not mind bag holding, it's Tesla, right? That's okay with me if I'm, you know, happen to be wrong, which I might be, of course. I'm not, you know, perfect, but again, I'm pretty confident that we are looking for a bounce here coming up relatively soon. So yeah, that's essentially what I see, guys. We can take a quick look at the Bollinger Bands one more time. You guys know I like these. I personally think this is a great indicator. You can see, like I said, you know, I did say how by the time we started looking for the bounce up to this mid 800 area, how there's a decent chance that the Bollinger Band, the white part, is going to also converge at this 840 level. And you can see it's definitely on its way there. So, you know, that's starting to slowly play out. We did bounce off the red, which is overall good. On the 1 hour, you can see it's also kind of, you know, starting to wanting to approach the white line. It did kind of go over a little bit, but got stuck back under. But as long as we can maintain and go over it, I think we're ready to start pushing to the upside. Just have to like maintain being above it as opposed to, you know, just falling below it like this quickly like we did today. So all we need is just one nice kind of green day to kind of just set up the momentum, really, because I think there's a lot of kind of momentum building up. All we need is just one nice green day to kind of really give us a little bit more bullish signals, and I think we're ready to go, which very well could be tomorrow. So yeah, that's all I'm seeing, guys. You know, again, I'm feeling good. I'm feeling pretty confident. I'm feeling like, you know, we're ready to go to the upside, and yeah, I'm in it with you guys right now. I'm along for the ride. And I think I'm good to go. I think we are all good to go. So all that being said and done, let me know what you guys think down below. Hopefully this video has been helpful, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace.